Israel's Supreme Court has ruled that a key coalition partner of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cannot serve as a minister because of a recent conviction for tax fraud and suspended sentence. Judges said the appointment of Aryeh Deri, leader of the ultra-Orthodox Shas party, was extremely unreasonable. The justice minister called the ruling absurd. Shas said it was political. The decision aggravates an already unprecedented clash between the new government and the entire legal system. The government, the most right-wing in Israel's history, has drawn up a bill which, if written into law, would allow politicians to override rulings by the Supreme Court and increase their influence over the selection of judges. Tens of thousands of people protested on Saturday in Tel Aviv against the proposed changes, after the Supreme Court's president warned that they would deal a «fatal blow» to Israel's democratic character. Mr. Netanyahu, who is currently on trial on charges of bribery, fraud and breach of trust, which he denies, rejected the criticism. Before the government took office last month, members of parliament from his coalition changed a law to allow someone recently convicted of a crime to serve as a minister if their prison sentence was suspended. Mr. Netanyahu and his allies believed that would allow Mr. Deri to serve as Interior Minister and Health Minister, but 10 of the Supreme Court's 11 justices ruled in favor of legal petitions challenging his appointment. Most of the judges have determined that this appointment is extremely unreasonable and thus the Prime Minister must remove Deri from office. A summary of their ruling said. The Haaretz newspaper quoted Supreme Court President Esther Hayat as saying the Prime Minister was not entitled to ignore Mr. Deri's accumulation of serious corruption offences. She added that having him in charge of two important ministries damages the image and reputation of the country's legal system and contradicts principles of ethical conduct and legality. In 1999, Mr. Deri was sentenced to 3 years in prison after being convicted of taking bribes, fraud and breach of trust while serving as Interior Minister. He was released after 22 months and returned to Parliament in 2013. Last January, a court agreed to a plea deal in which Mr. Deri admitted to tax fraud.